Right, let's see what the summer of 1706 has in store for us. End the turn. I'll just speed it up a bit. The British fleet coming back to port, slightly mangled. French dealing with the Barbary pirates still. Austria doesn't seem to be up to very much, still moving its troops about. I think the Poles are moving their gentlemen over to steal our technologies. The Ottoman fleet having a go at the Russians and losing. Good news for our trade. Hanover invading Denmark again. Bavaria's moved its army. Oh, hello. Courland is finally doing something. A bit too little too late, I think. Okay, that's that then. Let's check the reports. We've got our theatre in Saxony finished. Austria had cancelled its trade agreement. That's ominous. I wonder if they're preparing to go to war with us. We shall see. Well, finally there is a rebellion in Poland. I was expecting it, but now it's happened, so we're going to have to deal with that. And it looks like our minister has gained a secret policeman, which will improve suppression. Okay, so that's the reports looked at as well. Quick check on the government reveals that it is the Lord Chief Justice that gained the secret policeman, not somebody else. But it doesn't actually increase repression. It just improves the situation for the spawning of assassins. So it might help us get rid of those annoying Polish gentlemen that are infiltrating our colleges, but beyond that, not much help really. Checking the policies tab. Nothing much I can do there, I don't think. Not sure, no. So we're stuck with that. Trade. We've lost Austria now, so we need to find either enter into a new trade agreement with Austria or find an alternative trade partner to make up our losses. Quick look at the diplomacy tab. Once again, I'm just going to offer peace, just in case anybody wants it. I'll see if Austria is prepared to enter into a new trade agreement. Yes, they are. So they obviously just wanted to renegotiate the terms, which is fair enough. That's gained us another 395 in trade, which is good, and it's land-based trade, so it can't be interrupted. Okay, good news. Research. We should get that research through for both colleges next term. Right, so Courland are invading East Prussia with a weak infantry brigade led by their General Kastner. Konigsberg is protected by 2 battalions of militia, a unit of pikemen and a regiment of gendarmerie, which is enough to hold it. To be honest, it's got artillery force to protect it, but I'm going to move some of my troops from West Prussia across anyway. Certainly my general, who can take charge of the defence. I'll move my cavalry over as well, and I'm going to move, well, I don't know, let's see if I can actually move all of my troops out of East Prussia without causing, out of West Prussia without causing any problem. Yeah, I can. Doesn't make any difference, so I might as well move my troops back in total. As I say, I don't really need those troops in East Prussia to defeat Courland Army, but I might want to follow through and actually invade Courland as a result, so I might as well move them in that direction. I'll just leave them there for a moment. I may even decide to attack the Courland Army rather than wait for them to attack us. Right, let's have a look at this Polish rebellion. It consists of 4 battalions of militia infantry, 2 batteries of 12-pounder artillery, goodness knows where they got the guns from, and a regiment of regular cavalry. Now, the odd thing about rebellions is that when you're trying to prevent them happening, then obviously it's important to keep the people of the region happy, but once they've occurred, there's absolutely no point in worrying about how happy the people are, because those that are unhappy have already rebelled against you anyway. So you may as well start charging them tax. So I can increase my income by 1,417 now in Poland, because things can't get any worse. So that's the good news about rebellions, really. The question really now is whether to do anything about the rebel army. Usually the rebel armies do one of 2 things. Either they march directly on the regional capital to try to liberate the region, or if they don't think they can achieve a victory that way, then they'll begin wandering around destroying everything else in the area. The interesting thing is that this rebel army has spawned right in the northeastern corner of the territory, so it's not within easy striking distance of any of the other assets. It could march straight past Warsaw and attack one of these places, but whichever action it takes, it's going to be much closer to me than it is now next turn. So I'm inclined just to leave it alone. If it attacks the capital, then it'll be easy to defeat. If it wanders off and starts trying to take out farms and things, then I'll just move out and destroy it then. But in the meantime, I can get some tax out of it, tax revenue out of it, so I'm not in a hurry really to get rid of it. What I am going to do while I think about it is move my spy back into Courland, just to keep an eye on the situation and see what, if any, support this army invading us has got. So at the moment, for instance, there's another very weak brigade defending Courland's capital, and another regular infantry battalion defending the bridge between Courland and Estonia. But it doesn't look like they've got any immediate support. Over on the west, as predicted, we've now got a foreign gentleman has infiltrated our college at Magdeburg, so we really need to start acting to avoid them stealing our technology. I'm going to move my assassin over towards that side, and it looks like we've got another one coming towards us as well. We won't be able to do anything this turn, but we just need to keep these Polish infiltrators under control. Don't want to start losing our technologies. Let's go back and look at this situation in East Prussia. Let's see. Check Courland, see if what their technology status is compared to ours. They're about on a par with us, so they're as advanced as we are in military tech. So we can expect that artillery piece to have canister. I think on the whole I'm not going to wait for them to attack me, I'm going to attack them. So we're just going to go in and attack their army. We should have enough troops to defeat them easily, so there's no point waiting. So this is Gutmann's army of Prussia against Courland's army led by General Kastner. And we obviously have a distinct advantage. Well, as far as I can tell, this battle's happening somewhere around the town of Gross-Jägersdorf, so that's what I'm going to call this battle. Let's just see what it looks like. The strategy adopted by General Gutmann for the Battle of Gross-Jägersdorf was pretty basic. The garrison of Konigsberg, consisting of 2 battalions of militia, the unit of pikemen and the unit of militia cavalry, were ordered to deploy to the west of the town, which dominated the centre of the battlefield, whilst Gutmann's army, consisting of 4 battalions of infantry and a regiment of regular cavalry, were deployed on the right flank, hidden behind a large wood. The aim of this deployment was to keep the Courland army distracted by the presence of the Konigsberg garrison deployed to their front, whilst Gutmann's army would advance on the right, swing round onto the left flank of the Courland army and drive them from the field. In practice, this strategy didn't go quite according to plan. When the battle opened, it was obvious that the Courland army had deployed further to the south than Gutmann had expected, and instead of being deployed directly opposite the Konigsberg garrison, they were deployed slightly to the south of the town of Gross-Jägersdorf. As a consequence, the Courland artillery had a clear line of fire on Gutmann's flanking forces as they made their approach march, although he did do his best to shield them from the artillery fire by using low rises in the ground and the woods to mask their movements. At the same time, the Courland infantry were able to reorientate to face the advance of the Prussian infantry on their left, and there was a fierce firefight towards the end of the battle which saw heavy casualties on both sides. However, in reality, the result of the battle was never in any doubt. The Prussians had a marked superiority in both infantry and cavalry, and the Prussian cavalry quickly overran the Courland artillery positions, whilst the 4 battalions of Prussian infantry were easily able to outgun the 2 battalions of Courland infantry and envelop the left flank of their line, leading to them routing in no short order. With their artillery overrun and their infantry in flight, the Courland army quit the field, and the battle ended with a heroic victory for the Prussian army. 156 as opposed to 279. One of my regiments, a couple of my regiments suffered quite a few casualties, but okay, that's the end of that then. Back to the campaign. What I'll do now then is follow through. I'm going to send the militia and the pikemen back into Konigsberg to act as a garrison, but General Gottman and the rest of the regular army will now advance into Courland. And I spend the money, what little money I have got this turn, in replenishing their losses so that they're at full strength. It'd be nice to give them some artillery, but I haven't got enough money to give them any artillery at the moment. And the artillery from here wouldn't reach in time, I don't think. Okay, so I think that's probably, well, that is all I'm going to do this turn. So that's the end of summer 1706. Right, so let's end the turn and see what the winter of 1706 has in store for us. France continuing its war against the Barbary pirates. Not actually at war with France, but it's a bit worrying that they seem to be getting the upper hand over our allies, Great Britain. Austria moving troops around still. Poland moving more gentlemen into our college. Well, now the Ottomans just ignored that Russian fleet again. They need to sink these Russian ships, interfering with our trade. Come on, guys. Dear, oh dear. I'm not even sure what they're trying to do by moving their ships all the way out here. Perhaps they're trying to get to a trade theatre. Oh dear, that Russian fleet's getting even more powerful now. I suppose it is only about 300 or 400 gold, but nevertheless, when we're so strapped for cash, anything is helpful really. I mean, you can see how people get into trouble with Prussia, because we started the war with Poland with something like 20,000 gold in our treasury, and we're down to, well, less than 3,000 a turn now, just after essentially 1 or 2 years of war. So if you didn't have that 20,000 in the first place, you'd never survive a major war with Prussia, using Prussia. Okay, well that's the end of the turn. rather the end of the AI's moves. Let's see if anything's happened. We've got our two technology advances, so we need to decide what we're going to do instead. There's not really much point in going for naval research, so probably a spinning jenny would be the most sensible thing unless there's something here. We'll go for the spinning jenny, I think, in Magdeburg. And Krakow can... we'll go for an enlightenment, I think. What does this do again? 10% technology research rate plus 10 to Telmarth. Oh, that gives us a bit more money, so we'll go for that. Okay, so that's research done. What else has happened? We've got an armchair general been added to one of our ministers. Oh no, he will be one of our gentlemen, sorry, not one of our ministers. Yeah, so two of our researchers have now got armchair general. That's because we've been doing so many military research activities. Right, so let's quickly get the routine checks done. Nothing's really changed government-wise, so I'm not going to change anything there. On the policies, as you can see, Poland is red, but nothing happened. The rebellion didn't get any worse, so there's no need to worry about the fact that it's red. I'm going to leave it there. I can't put lower class taxes up without Brandenburg getting upset, so I'll just leave everything as it is. Trade wise, the Russians didn't actually sever our trade link with the Ottoman Empire, so we did get the 403 gold from them this term, which is good news. So that's those routine checks done. On the diplomacy side, we do now have some more technology, so we could offer that to Great Britain now. They accepted our last offerings, so, and they've got utilitarianism, which gives us additional town wealth. So I'm going to see if they'll accept military syllabus and carbines for utilitarianism. Yeah, they did. So that's good. We've helped them out, and we've got a bit more technology research for ourselves. Let's just see if anyone else has anything of value for us. Right, the Ottoman Empire has improved grenades, so let's offer them our Enlightenment technologies in return for improved grenades and see if they're interested. No, they're not. Okay. Oh. Let's see if they're interested in our military stuff. No. Okay, so they're not prepared to do any deals with us. I'll just go and offer peace to everybody as well, like I always do. Poland's not interested. Russia's not interested. Let's see if Courland's sufficiently concerned about our siege or our invasion to make peace. No. Okay, well that's up to them. I'm just going to go through now and see if any other factions have any technologies of interest to us, but I won't film it all. I'll just let you know what the results are. I certainly wouldn't suggest that you bother doing this every single turn, because it does take a long while, but on turns where you've just researched some additional technologies, it's always worth just going through the diplomacy panel and checking every single faction to see if you can do any deals with them. In the vast majority of cases, you're just going to get the door slammed in your face, but usually you'll find perhaps 2 or 3 factions will agree to do a deal, and they'll either trade one of their technologies that you haven't got for 2 of yours, or in some cases, if they've got a lot of money, they'll actually buy a technology off you for 3,000 to 5,000 gold. So it's well worth the effort, even though it does take quite a bit of time to go through, and it's especially important in the situation we're in here, where Prussia is short of cash, in that it gets Prussia extra technologies quite quickly to give it an edge on in both the economy and the military, and also more importantly it can boost the balance in the Prussian Treasury by selling off the advances that we've gained already. Obviously you need to be a bit selective. You won't necessarily want to trade technologies with your enemies or your potential enemies, and you might want to give preferential terms to your allies or factions that are at war with your potential enemies or enemies. So there's an element of strategy involved in making the deals too. In my case, I managed to land 4 deals in total going through the diplomacy panel. There was the deal with Great Britain that you've already seen, that secured Prussia utilitarianism in return for military syllabus and carbines. In addition to that, we managed to secure a deal with Portugal and secured spinning jenny from them in return for physiocracy, utilitarianism and plug bayonets. Then we discovered that Genoa wanted the spinning jenny, which we'd just got from Portugal. They hadn't got any technologies to trade with us, but they paid us 1,000 gold for it. Likewise, Württemberg, who wouldn't accept any of the deals we proposed for exchanging technologies, wanted physiocracy and came up with a deal of their own offering us 2,300 gold, and basically I snapped their hand off. So at the end of all this negotiation, Prussia had gained 2 new technologies, utilitarianism from Great Britain and spinning jenny from Portugal, and we'd made 3,300 gold, which is as much as the Prussian Treasury earned in revenue from taxation and trade this turn. So it was a really worthwhile exercise. Right, so thanks to the hard work of our Prussian diplomatic service, we now have 6,831 gold to spend, and we no longer need to research the spinning jenny in Magdeburg, so we can switch our research to something else, which I think will be flying shuttle. No, hang on a minute, no, I'm going to do improved animal husbandry. Good. And now we can get on with our moves, and the first thing I'm going to do is move Gutmann's army to the capital of Courland, and I'm going to put it under siege. Now he hasn't got any artillery, and the city itself is defended with fortifications, so given that I have this rule about not climbing the walls with ropes, he can't actually attack the city, but he can put it under siege. I'll just see if they'll surrender. I'm sure they won't. No, they won't. Okay, so I'm just going to put it under siege. In 4 turns they'll have to surrender or come out anyway, but perhaps now, with all this extra money I've got, I can actually provide him with some artillery before then. How long does it take? Oh yeah, I can make a couple of batteries of 12-pounder cannon for next turn and send it down to support him, so even if they don't come out, I'll be able to go and deal with them. I'm also going to recruit a unit of dragoons. The reason I'm going to recruit dragoons is because they have this garrison policing bonus, which makes them useful for garrisoning cities that are suffering from unrest and stuff. So the idea is that I might send them to Warsaw if things don't improve soon, or either that or West Prussia. Switching attention now to Poland, I'm surprised to notice that the rebel army hasn't moved at all. It doesn't seem to have got any bigger either, so it's just sitting there in the corner, not doing any damage to anybody. And as I say, it's allowing us to charge taxation to the rest of the population, so I'm not in a hurry to do anything about it really. It can just sit there as far as I'm concerned. I am going to move my spy from Courland though. I don't need a spy there anymore because I've got an army besieging the place, so I'm going to move him over to keep an eye on what's happening in Lithuania, just in case the Poles decide to send some support for their Courland allies. Yeah, they're building some more buildings in Vilnius, but they don't seem to be increasing the size of their army particularly. In the west, I'm going to send my assassin to deal with one of these, try and deal with one of these Polish infiltrators into our college. See if we can kill one of them off. No, we didn't succeed, but maybe next time. That's all the moves I want to make, but we still have over 5,000 gold to spend, so we need to try and spend that wisely. I'm going to spend 2,000 upgrading the barracks in Berlin to a drill school. That will enable me to train grenadiers and hussars, but also will enable my researchers to research fire by rank, which is an important technology we need for the army. I'm not going to do that in every one of the other cities because that would be a waste of money. I only need one drill school to enable me to train the troops and do the research, so I'll just leave it at that. At the same time, I'm going to retrain the 23rd Infantry Regiment, which I wanted to do last term but cancelled it because I needed the money for something else, so I'll do that now as soon as I have the money. I'd like to put some fortifications around Dresden, but that's going to cost 4,000. I don't have the money left this turn, and even if I did, it's very expensive. I don't need to upgrade their barracks or their cannon factory. It's not essential. I can build the cannon elsewhere if I need to. I do want to replace that artillery piece though with something better. Can Berlin? Yeah, I'm going to raise one artillery piece in Berlin, which will then be sent to Dresden to replace the artillery piece there. In Poland, similar situation. I've got two old style demi cannons there, so I'm going to recruit two replacement artillery batteries, and when they're ready next turn I'll disband the old ones. And I think that, oh, the only other thing I was going to do, I thought I might as well repair this Admiralty building now in Poland. It's only 600, so I'll repair that as well. It's not essential, but I'm getting fed up with the smoke coming off the city, to be honest. Okay, so that's everything, I think. Oh, I've got some troops to repair here, so I'll just do that. Yeah, that's the casualties to the gendarmerie from the last battle. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of winter 1706. I've still got 1,200 gold left in the treasury, and hopefully I shall get another 3,000 next turn. So things are looking a little bit more positive now, and it will be interesting to see what Courland does as a result of this siege. In fact, I'm just going to offer them peace again to see if they're willing to reconsider now they're actually under siege. I don't really want to take Courland. It's not an essential, not essential that I take it. So I'll offer them peace and a trade agreement. Okay, they're still not prepared to put up with it. So we'll see what happens next turn, whether Poland sends any help or whether they try to sally out and attack my army. The balance, according to the odds meter, is slightly in their favour, so they may decide to come out and fight, which would actually make things a lot easier. If not, then eventually I'll send some cannon down there and we'll have to have another siege battle. That's it for winter 1706.